Yeah. What in the world? What in the wide world of sports is going on here? What happened?
One of my favorite movies.
Mackerel. All I have is questions right now as we start the show. That's just the honest truth. All I have is questions. What happened? What in the wide world of sports is, well, as they say in the movie, is going on here? I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. Hit them up at favrates.com. Your hometown heroes. Why do I call them that? Well, it's pretty simple. Because when you have that fender bender at 11 o'clock on Saturday night on your way home from the game, you know who to call. They're a text away, and they live like 2 blocks down, right? They're right there at home, hometown, and they're heroes because they show up when you need them. It's Monday. It is a reaction Monday. Do you know what that means? It means I hadn't planned anything for this show. I almost said that I hadn't planned nothing, but that would be grammatically incorrect. But you get the point. I hadn't laid out anything into this show. The entire time that I am on the air, it is yours. Well, it's yours and mine. There's nothing predetermined, decided ahead of time that we're definitely going to do it this time during the show. This is a reaction Monday. The mood is important. And with that said, I don't know of a better way to set the mood for today's show than with this.
We are so much better on defense right now than any part of the season last year.
JB, was that mean? Tell the truth.
No, man. I think that was somewhat apropos.
You don't think that was out of bounds, Steve, for me to do that?
I actually thought you were going to come back with the clip from Matt.
With this? Oh, with this?
Matt, I don't mean to be dismissive, man. I just don't think it matters. I mean, LSU is roughly a 20-point favorite in that game, and I think they're going to win it by 3 touchdowns.
That don't make no sense. All right, that's enough of that. I got a better way to start the mood or get the mood going. Let's go. Come on. And just remember, some of y'all predicted it and didn't back off. Lynn on Facebook. Sven almost nailed the score on YouTube. You believed before I did. Hats off, literally. The JSU Sonic Boom setting the mood for you on a Monday. Ride around Jackson, roll the window down, turn it up to 11. Y'all can text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Text me at 885-ESPN. 885-ESPN or 885-3776. Also, give me a call on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. Another who, if I am remembering correctly, who predicted correctly that Mississippi State was going to win the football game, didn't back off, was a guy who calls the show named Chris. I wonder if it's the same one. Chris on the Davini Equipment phone line. Start us off on this Monday, Reaction Monday. Chris, what's up?
How you doing, Matt?
Just right. How are you?
I'm great, especially after Saturday night. I just wanted to tell all the LSU fans that listen to your show, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. I've been telling you for weeks, but you just don't want to listen. And now you want to blame it on Stingley not being there. But guess what? If we hadn't turned the ball over 4 times, we'd have beat y'all by 21 more points. So it would have been 31 points instead of 10 points because we were going towards the end zone all 3 times we fumbled the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So all I got to say is the right team won last night when Seattle won, and the right team won Saturday when Mississippi State won. And Arkansas, don't think that we're Georgia. And, Matt, I've got a way too early prediction, but I'm going to say this now. The only team I think that Mississippi State's going to lose to all year, and I had this feeling, is Alabama.
That's a big statement. But you know what? Here on this Monday, it doesn't sound as big as it would have last Monday, Chris, after we've seen what we've seen.
Exactly. And I'm worried about Alabama because, I mean, yeah, they look good, but who'd they beat up on? Missouri? That's like beating up on Vanderbilt now.
Yeah, Alabama's so
I mean,
fast. And here, remember this, Chris, just, and I'm not at all, throwing water on any optimism at all, and I'm not even getting you to back off of what you said. I'm just saying, let's throw in the reality that this week is really important to keep an eye on everyone in the league also because, remember this, now everybody has film on their opponent. Okay? Alabama's got film on who, I don't even know who they play, but they got one game of film plus last year. Alabama goes into Missouri, they don't really know they're studying App State personnel with that coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? So this is an important week, too, to keep an eye on because, yes, the good teams will improve a lot from week 1 to week 2, but also keep an eye on coaching staffs and decisions and scheming and game plans because now we got film on everybody's personnel and what they did last week. Week 2 will look a little bit different across the league.
So I will say this about Mississippi State, though. I wanted to say one last thing. I'm impressed with the offense, but we all thought the offense was going to be good. What I am impressed with more than anything was how our defense played. Our defensive line played out of their mind. It's been a long time. It's been since Jeffrey Simmons was there, since we've seen that kind of effort. But even at the end of their thing, they weren't even running the ball like that. That was a great thing to see, and that's why I'm so optimistic.
Hey, but, Chris, I'm glad you brought it up because I fully intend to touch on that today. That's my take. I did, as you can imagine, State wins a game like that, I start getting calls for interviews on other radio shows and stuff around the Southeast and all. And I had 2 this morning in Alabama. And I told those guys, because they all asked, were you surprised? And I say, honestly, I've seen some practice. I've seen some stuff. I know 600 yards, okay, that's out of this world. But I wasn't really surprised that State went out and was throwing and catching the way they did in the pass game, because I've seen it. What surprised me, honestly, was the tenacity, physicality that the defense played with and how well they tackled, Chris. So I'm with you on that. I know they still gave up 34, but at key times, key stops, creating some turnovers when they had to, and 7 sacks, and tackled great. It was really impressive, I thought, in those aspects for the defense.
That's true. And hey, Ole Miss fans, don't hang your head because y'all played a really good game. I was surprised and I was locked into that game, and I was actually rooting for Ole Miss before it was over with. And I'm a State fan, but I want to say 2 last things. Costello for Heisman and Hell State. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate it, Chris. Out. As you can imagine, on a Reaction Monday, there is so much out there. The Country Pleasing text line, 885 ESPN. Grumpy was the first to text on the show today, said, Matt, enjoyed you and Neil's broadcast. Great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, I saw Kyle York's, and I made the same joke to Neil after the guy said, I threw for like 600 yards my career. This man went and did it in 4 quarters today. I saw Kyle. He's a great guy. So thanks for yours. Sean texted the show, and he said, can we get the guy on you had last week who made the comment about all the players LSU lost and said it just doesn't matter, LSU by 30. I think we played that clip for you. Now, and since this is the first Reaction Monday, as you can imagine, again, there's more texts than I can get to in a short period of time, and that's fine. The more, the better, and we're going to get to all of them, okay? It's just we'll get to them kind of all at once. Same thing, everybody commenting, got a conversation going on right now on, excuse me, on the YouTube live stream, on Facebook on the live stream, and so I'll get to some of those comments and questions too. We got plenty of time to do all of that today. First, though, I don't want to make him hang on any longer. Gator Greg, early on today's show on this Reaction Monday on the Davini Equipment phone line. Greg, what'd you think, man? Hey, and congrats to your Gators.
Well, Mr. Wyatt, I got to say, I believe Mississippi State and Florida had the best kickers in the league. That's all I want to talk about. Your field goal kicker made them big kicks to keep the lead. I mean, you got that down pat. But if people listen to this show, it's not a surprise that Mississippi State beat LSU. We said that they were going to be within the number. I think what I was impressed with, if you can tell me the name, and I guess I got mad at CBS like some of the folks did when I love Nestler, but Mississippi State is not burgundy. They're maroon. And then after that, I just turned it off and listened to you and Neil, Mr. Wyatt. And you did a good job. I love your analysis. Steve Spurrier Jr., wish we had him in Florida. He's making an impact on your receivers. I really was impressed. And I just hope your quarterback arm don't fall off. You can't, like 60 passes. That's a lot, just like Mr. Trash down there. Mr. Wyatt, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm glad. I didn't tell you this, but I had put some money on Mississippi State Casino to win the SEC West.
What?
I talked to one of my buddies, just a state guy, and you're a state guy too. How about Dan Mullen versus Mississippi State in the SEC championship this year since it's COVID? Because Florida can't beat Georgia with that Swiss cheese defense that Florida's playing. I'm concerned about that. That was atrocious. But how about that, Mr. Wyatt? Would every state fan take that undefeated state team versus Dan Mullen and for the SEC championship to get in the playoff? I'm going to go ahead and call my shot right now. It's 2020 and COVID. Go Gators. We'll see you, Mr. Wyatt. Appreciate you.
And Gator Greg out. Thanks for the call, man. Hey, we'll take it. Certainly storylines and angst and all that kind of stuff, but we'll take it. I'm sure Florida would too, huh? Just get there somehow, some way. Who cares who you play? You had State. You got to get through Alabama. You got to get through Auburn and A&M and Kentucky on the schedule and Georgia and a lot of this. So we got a long way to go. But the kickers, McPherson for Florida was really good. He hit from 55, 37, and 23, made it look easy. And then Brandon Ruiz was outstanding for State. He was just automatic. And on kickoffs, too, Ruiz hit from 35, 24, and 43. The one he hit from 43 would have been good from 53 really easily or more. And so they were automatic. No question about it. No question about it. All right. I honestly, when you say, okay, I don't know where to start, I think the place to start is at the start. Okay, so going back here, unnamed texter said you need to call your pal from LSU and ask him about that 21-point win. Yeah, we had, who was it?
Matt Moscona.
I know, but we have a texter named Tiger somebody.
Yeah, he did. He was willing to give he's giving up to 18 points, 3 touchdowns.
He was really confident. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it's fair to say he was really, really confident. I don't know. We'll have to see if we get a response. PRG said the real question is how many times are you going to play the clip of Moscona completely dismissing MSU as a viable opponent? Nah, I'm not going to do that to him. Look, Matt's a really good guy. He is. And, and in media, one of the reasons Matt is so successful is because he's one of those who does not ever mind having a strong opinion, and you have to. Ghost Pepper said, Matt, the LSU guy you interviewed who scoffed and didn't think it mattered how many players opted out. Look, and that's the other thing, too. If you remember this, Matt Stinchcomb, former player, first rounder, analyst now, the ESPN SEC Network, predicted basically on this show on Thursday, was it Thursday or Wednesday? At some point last week, Matt said, I like Mississippi State in the game. And it was a combination of kind of projecting confidence on the State offense, knowing what we know about Mike Leach, but also looking at LSU. And he said, it's just going to be a whole new experience for them run out on the field. And I felt it, you felt it, we could all see it, that they weren't going to be the same. What's amazing to me, JB, is that so many people did think LSU was going to be the same.
Well, I go back to Stinchcom's comment. I was talking to a guy this morning at work, and I said, the thing that Matt said that got me was, oh, yeah, I believe Mississippi State's got this. I mean, he didn't bat an eye. He didn't pause a second or anything.
No.
So, and I'll be honest. I mean, I thought State had a chance to win. I felt 100% certain they could cover the point spread, but you never know. But the thing that I thought as I watched the game was they continued to get punched in the face, and they punched back.
I know. So
that was a key.
It was a key, and we could find the actual drives, but I pointed this out at one time. What? Well, I mean, look at the first turnover, right? You throw a pick six and go down 7-3, and how did they respond? They took the kickoff and drove 75 yards in 6 plays and scored and took the lead back. I mean, just like that. So you're right. In that ball game, the ability to kind of come back. And true enough, 17 points off of turnovers. LSU had 17 points off turnovers. Half of their points on the scoreboard were off of Mississippi State turnovers. And 7 of those 17 turnover points right into the end zone. Throw a pick, here we go. Hit your head on the goalpost, right? Like just like that. And State just kept coming back and kept coming back. There's so much to get into how they kept coming back. And one of the reasons they kept coming back, JB, State's players were in better condition physically than LSU's players.
That sure seemed to be one of the guys that I was watching the game with. He made that comment about middle of the third quarter. He said, he goes, quote, their guys are gassed. But I think you made the point early on in the show is that the defense really stepped up when they needed to step up. Was it middle linebacker Errol made 3 straight tackles in a row?
Yeah, Errol Thompson.
Yeah.
I mean, he was incredible. You know another way that you can tell when a team is in good shape physically? When they get banged up and they come back into the game.
Yeah.
As far as I know, State had one guy who got banged up and didn't come back in. That might have been Island, the left guard. I can't remember if he came back in. But I know Errol Thompson banged up, leaves the game, comes back. Aaron Brule dealt with cramps all day long.
Cream Brulee. That's what I call him now.
Yeah, well, he played really well. And, and kept coming back. Martin Emerson gets that stinger. I'm assuming stinger. I don't know that. But that's the way it looked to me. Because you get a stinger just right in the neck or shoulder area, you will think you are paralyzed. It is debilitating. I've been through it. It's awful. You'll think, I'm never going to use this arm again. And then when it finally goes away a half hour later, you can go. Now you'll be sore, but you can go. And I'm assuming since he came back, that's what that was.
Kylan Hill went out halfway through either the second or third quarter. I can't remember. And I looked over at my buddy and I said, Scott, that's not going to be a good thing. He goes, no, he does this all the time. He'll be back in a minute.
And
then he came back, and that's when he scored the touchdown.
Right.
I have a question. I've been trying to figure it out, but my math hadn't been doing it. But a buddy of mine wants to know, what was the average scoring drive for Mississippi State in the game?
Well, we can look at the drives. So if you went just scoring drive, so you had a field goal drive that was 12 plays, 66 yards. That was the first scoring one. That kind of skews the average a little bit, JB.
Yeah, because that was like 6 minutes and 22 seconds.
It was their longest, and in terms of number of plays and length of time off the clock drive all day long. Okay, that was the field goal. So it skews it because it's 12 plays, right? And they go 66 yards. So if we're talking yards, maybe not. But here's the point. Touchdown drives of 6 plays, 75 yards, 2 minutes. 7 plays, 75 yards, 3 minutes, basically, just under 3. 1 play, 75 yards, Kylan Hill. 5 plays, 56 yards, 1:44. And then 7 plays, 71 yards in 2.5 minutes at the end of the game. Their longest offensive possession the entire ball game was the second time they got it. After they go 3 and out, defense gets a stop, you get it back, and State went 66 yards in 12 plays, 6.5 minutes, and kick a field goal. It's the longest possession of the whole ball game.
Not your typical ball control offense.
Man, listen to this. They win a game on the road, put up 44 points. Defense only allows 34, gets 7 sacks. They had that 6-minute, 22-second possession by State. They only had one other possession the entire ball game that took over 3 minutes off the clock. All the rest of their possessions were under 3 minutes in some shape, form, or fashion. Yeah, there ain't no ball control in that whatsoever. Big Jim on the Davini Equipment phone line this morning on a Reaction Monday. What's up, Jim?
Hey, Matt, how y'all doing today?
Great. Thanks for calling.
On a Mississippi State Monday afternoon. The thing that impressed me about Saturday was how impressed Costello was with the SEC. They interviewed him after the game. He said, "This means more." It's like he had an SEC experience that opened his eyes to what it really means, because he's been in the Pac-12. He just probably hadn't been around that many athletes that fast and playing that kind of ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it means more down here, and that impressed me that his eyes was open to that.
Yeah.
And in the ball game, even though Mississippi State would go down, you would get that feeling that they got this. Mm-hmm. That fear of losing wasn't on me, that they would lose, because it seemed like they had the ball game in their back pocket, so to speak, because the confidence level had rose so much.
You're right, Jim.
And I've never seen Mississippi State have that many receivers have that much fun. You could tell that the receivers were having fun.
No question about it. No question about it. Because Jim, they ran every single route. 90 miles an hour, because they expect the ball to hit them in the head if they turn around and aren't ready. There's great urgency in their pass game. And you saw that right out of the gate in game one. That's just a result of the way they work that pass game in practice. It really is incredible, a sight to see. Miss Dinah on Facebook says, we got a MSU win and a new grandson all in the same day. Be still my heart. Go Dogs. How about that, Miss Dinah? That new grandbaby boy brought us a win on his birthday. Congrats to the Sneed family. I know y'all are beaming. All right, just getting started. Reaction Monday.
They're going to name him KJ?
Maybe so.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready. We're 5G-ish.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck.
ESPN 105.9 The Zone and streaming.
Check it out online now
at thezone1059.com.
I didn't get a chance to actually talk to Jonathan McMillan from Davini Equipment. Jonathan and I have become buddies. Some people call him J-Mac. Other people call him the lockdown corner from MC back in the day. But anyway, he's got some family members that are big LSU fans. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Jonathan. By the way, y'all go by and talk to Jonathan. Davini Equipment, Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. Great guy. But he texted me. He was doing some other stuff, and he texted me, and I think it was just in regards to the score of the game, and he just texted me, and it said, "Is this for real?" And when Jonathan said that, I could see his face, and I could hear his voice exactly the way he would say it. "Man, is this for real?" So, Jonathan, I meant to call you, and I got busy or something, but I picked up on your dismay at the result of that ball game, all right? More comments, text, opinions, and comments, and questions, and everything that I can possibly get to. I'm coming to the phone. We got callers hanging on. I'm coming to that, though. I wanted to read this. On the Country Pleasin' text line, Dennis, formerly of Omaha, on the Country Pleasin' Sausage text line, y'all text me at 885 ESPN. He said, "I think it's safe to say that Mr. Costello is a fair flinger of footballs." I love the alliteration, man. Thank you very much. All right. One of the men who nailed it, never backed off of it, didn't care if others snickered, and predicted from day one that State was going to win the game and almost nailed the score himself, is on the Davini Equipment phone line. He is Lynn. Lynn, hats off to you, man. You nailed it.
Oh, how you doing, man? The score was a lucky guess, so we all know that you could throw a million times and never get that close.
Yeah, right. What was the score? Because you repeated it several times. What was it that you predicted?
42-35 is what I called it.
Dadgummit. That was close.
Yeah. I mean, I've never called a score that close in my life on anything. But I just had faith the whole time, man. I thought we'd win the game, and but I never really thought my score would be that close. But I had to call you this morning. I got to call him. I got a lot going on. I'm changing jobs, changing trucks. But
okay,
there wasn't no way I could get going and not call today after that bit of luck.
Absolutely. The man said 42 to 35.
I mean, 42-35 was what I had it at.
Hey, and I tell you this, Lynn, I've got to correct this for everybody listening, because I said the defense gave up 34 points. Well, they didn't. They gave up 27, and a bunch of people have commented and texted and said, "Man, they gave up 27. They didn't give up 34." And so I didn't mean to slight the defense like that.
That's right. Well, I'm going to give you one for Arkansas this week now. Of course, we're going to win. That goes without saying. But I won't never predict no other way than that. But I'm going to say we're going to get this one about 45-28. No, 24, my bad.
Okay. All right, 45-24.
And that's what I'm going to go with. We'll see how lucky I get. If I get that close again, I'm going to Sam.
Okay. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Lynn. Before you hang up, I'm going to give you one stat. Coach Ogeron is having his press conference right now, and he just got on. He got on there and said that after they reviewed the film, Mississippi State had 383 receiving yards after the catch.
That's unreal.
Is that not amazing?
That is unreal.
I honestly think that might be the first time. I've heard of big passing games, 500-yard passing games. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Wow. Lynn, thanks for the call, buddy. Call me anytime. Jake is next. Davini Equipment Phone. What's up, Jake?
Hey, Matt. How you doing today, brother?
Just right. What's up?
Great. Hey, congrats to Mississippi State. I loved it. And this would teach you that offense can't win games, but defense can win championships.
Right.
That defense is going to carry them all the way through this. But you got to have the right type of offensive mind. Now, this coach for Mississippi State, now I'm from Austin. This guy gave UT everything they handled when he was at Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. And that's why I know Mississippi State going to have a pretty good team this year. Texas Tech came down to Austin and beat us so bad one time, and it was just embarrassing. And Leach was the coach.
Yeah.
And that's how I know this guy can flat out coach offense. That's why this guy having a press conference saying how many yards after the catch, because he know how to get the receivers in position to catch it and make some yardage after he catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's a perfect thing. I mean, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But do Mississippi State play Arkansas next week?
Yes. Arkansas on Saturday in Starkville.
Guys, I'm telling you, Arkansas ain't no joke.
No, they're better.
Now,
they're absolutely better. And I'll tell you this, Jake, here's what you don't fear Arkansas, and State should win the game, but here's the thing about them. Here's what people need to realize. Number one, they now have film. Everybody now has some film on each other. That's big in game planning. They'll find matchups, and teams will do a little better, okay? Also, inexperienced teams, all this stuff, now they have a game under their belt. Here's the other thing to remember. One of the things that I thought Bart Gregory and Charlie Winfield nailed this in our postgame show. LSU had an overconfident approach. Okay, so they had looked in the mirror and not judged themselves correctly. So that's why they gave up 7 sacks. They didn't go to max protection enough. They gave up 7 sacks. They kept playing man-to-man coverage. That's why so many completions went for those 380 yards after the catch, because there's no defense back there. So Arkansas is going to totally do a different deal. Number one, Arkansas will play deeper coverage. They'll have 2 safeties. They'll back off. You'll have all kinds of cushion at the line of scrimmage. And they will, instead of 4 and 5 and 6 play scoring drives, they're going to force State to go on 9 and 10 play scoring drives. And then Arkansas's offense, with a big, tall, strong arm quarterback in Felipe Franks, who has played in Starkville before, Arkansas will do a little more max protect. They won't do 5 and 6 man protection. Sometimes they'll use a tight end, and they'll say, we don't care what you have in coverage. We're just going to throw a deep ball one-on-one against whoever is on the outside. They're going to try to win the game with some jump ball opportunities. I promise you Arkansas is going to do that.
They are, and also Felipe Franks, that's when he came out of Florida. So now he has no pressure. There's nothing on there's no monkey on his back to keep him, if I mess up, I'll be on the bench. He's going to come out slinging the ball. Yeah. And that's how Mullins trained him. Right. But unfortunately, he had somebody, put the pressure on him kind of hard that he made a lot of mistakes. But I do predict State going to win this thing. And congratulations to Lynn. Lynn called it perfect. I mean,
he sure did.
Personally, I had it 38-10.
38-10.
My prediction, that's my prediction. But I forgot about, Leach. This guy, he's an offensive genius. He straight up is. Hey, okay, guys. I ain't going to hold you on. Hey,
thanks, Jake. Appreciate you, man. Call me anytime. Jimmy, watching on YouTube, says, what a group of receivers we have. Defense was very physical. And that's the thing, man. The combination of, I just think as a whole, State's team looked like they were in better condition physically across those 4 quarters than LSU was. That's the way it looked to me. And then the defense was so much more physical. I thought that was a big part of it. Let me get in here to the Country Pleasing text line, and then I'm coming to you, Clay. Give me 1 second here. Unnamed texter says, Matt, what a game Saturday. I was so excited at what I saw. Unfortunately, I had to listen to you on my phone because we were at my daughter's softball tournament. It says she's 11. Pitcher, she's a big State fan. When she was 2, she'd run around the house ringing a cowbell. And then he says, anyway, I lost the broadcast with 2 minutes left. Did not hear the end of the game. Do you know what happened to the broadcast? Love your show. No, I have no idea. So I don't know where you were streaming it, but we didn't get reports of any issues on our end on the broadcast. So I don't think it went away for everybody. Plus, I've got highlights of all those calls, so they actually did happen. Who's next? Clay on the Davini Equipment phone. Hit me, Clay. What's up?
What's up, man?
Yo.
Well, Matt, really they only gave up 24 points because they had a turnover and got a 3-and-out, forced a field goal. I mean, that was not really on the defense, but
okay, all right.
It does go against them. I mean, you said 27, 24.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm going to tell you, and I said it on Bow today, I was amazed, and teams tend to take on the personalities of their coach. I was amazed how they just, adversity, throw an interception, fumble the ball, short field twice.
Hey, and Clay, let me ask you this real quick. This is the most insignificant thing. But, there was a time in the game where LSU had just nailed another punt and caught Austin Williams caught it like at the 5-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the 5. But there was a penalty by LSU, 5-yarder, and Mike Leach had the option to just decline it and go ahead and play offense at the 5 or make them kick it again and see if we can get better field position, right? And he said, I'll make them kick it again. So they kicked it again, and this time he caught it at the 10. It gained them 5 yards. Instead of super conservative, I just thought that's just another example of even teeny tiny things, they are being super aggressive. You got about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Hey, if you make them kick it again, it's a bad snap, a block punt, a shank punt. I mean, I'm always, let's play the odds, make them do it again. But just, I'm telling you, not overzealous. He's not super out there and rah-rah as most coaches. But you could see those players adapted to his personality. They didn't go there thinking they were going to get beat. We all may have thought they were going to get beat, but they didn't get off that bus thinking they were getting beat.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
That's the way I saw it.
Good stuff, Clay. I think you're right. I mean, that's a great point. You're right. The truth is, the team reflected their coach and had a mindset that was frankly different than anybody watching the game. And pretty soon it changed for all of us.
I'm going to tell you this real quick.
Hey, hang on. We got to go.
Matt, you still got me?
Yeah, stick around. Hang on. We got to go.
Noise when it comes to 5G.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make.
Is ready, sir. Live online at thezone1059.com and
keep your radio turned on
to ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Also staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line or call me. I'm coming back to Clay, but real quick, I wanted to read something. I got a text from an unnamed texter on the Country Pleasing text line. It says, our sincerest thanks to the Tennessee Volunteers for them choosing to stay irrelevant in the SEC and the national scene by not finalizing the hire of Coach Leach and instead getting Jeremy Pruitt. We are more than glad to be the ones to prove the air raid works in the SEC. Signed, State fans. Thanks for the text. All right, Clay, thanks for hanging on. I know that the break kind of cut us short on the Davini phone. What's up, Clay? Go ahead.
No, it's fine. And one of you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Matt.
Yeah, okay. I'm here, loud and clear.
One of the other things, though, that, can you hear me? Okay, we good. All right. One of the other things is the receivers that are there. We heard for the 2 years that Moorhead was there that, we don't have the personnel, the receivers to run what I want to run. And I understand those cats have been coached up. And, I mean, how can you not take those receivers and coach them up? I understand they're raw. They're not the 5-star, 4-star, 3-stars that most people wanted. But those guys freaking played amazing. It shows what a little coaching will do. Mm-hmm. And, again, it's back to the attitude of your coaches. Steve Spurrier believed in those guys and coached them up. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to let you go. I was listening to national radio on my way home from the beach yesterday, and one of the guys I was on Sirius XM, they were talking about Mike Leach and the air raid offense coming to the SEC and blah, blah, blah. And one of the guys was like, it's just not long-term going to work in the SEC. It's just not going to do it. And the guy goes, why do you say that? He goes, it's SEC talent running it against SEC talent. He's not bringing, and no slight to Washington State or Texas Tech, he's not bringing those talent level kids in and trying to run it against SEC schools.
That's right.
I never thought about it like that, and he's still got to get his talent that he wants. He's using somebody else's and making it happen. And we're going to have a bad game. We're going to have a bad day, and everybody's going to think what they're going to run their mouths or whatever. But enjoy this one. Move on. We will be 3-0 going to Texas A&M though, or Texas A&M coming to us. I don't even know the schedule anymore. It's so confusing. But we will be 3-0 going into that Texas A&M game. Let's hope for the best there.
Appreciate the call.
But y'all have a good one, man.
Thanks, Clay. I got a text from a friend on my phone from C Spire, and it just said this. have you talked about how MSU could use the excuse of losing half of their starters from last year also? Seems like LSU's been getting the benefit of the doubt on that front, but MSU wasn't coming at them with much SEC experience at all. New quarterback, new staff, brand new offense. That is true. I mean, you could say, okay, losses for LSU, yes. But they had the advantage of a quarterback who's been there for 3 years running the same offense, the same terminology with the same teammates that he's been doing it for 3 years coming into that game on Saturday. Versus KJ Costello's been in Stark. Well, he got there June 1st. They couldn't even do anything, stay quarantined for a month. They've been practicing for 2 months. This is the fact, y'all. Mississippi State's staff coached circles around LSU's staff before that game and during the game. Leading up to it and on the sideline and in the booth during the game. In both those areas, State's staff coached circles around the LSU staff. It's a fact. Next up on the Davini Equipment phone line, Larry. Thanks for hanging on, Larry. What's up?
Hey, man, you doing all right?
Oh, yeah, as far as I know.
Yes. It's always a good Monday when State wins and Ole Miss loses. Got to say it. Hey, look, hey, three things, and then I'll get off. First, that's the first time in a long time that our wide receivers actually look faster than LSU DB. I mean, they were just open all day. It was amazing.
Let me throw this in. I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but let me throw it in and let you continue. The reason, a big reason is the game went on, State's in better physical condition.
They got tired.
Yep, they got tired.
Yeah, LSU.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. They had a lot to do with it. Hey, talking about Arkansas running the zone, I mean, how are they going to cover Hill? I mean, he's the zone buster, I guess. So, I don't know. It's going to be hard to stop that offense. You're going to have, I mean, LSU had 4 and 5 stars out there, and they couldn't stop our 3-star wide receivers. I mean, I just don't, I don't know. I could be wrong, but
hey, let me put it to you this way. And experience matters, but even without Derek Stingley on the field, LSU's secondary had as many 5-star recruits in it as Mississippi State's entire football team.
That's right. Well, we only have one, and he was our offensive tackle, I believe.
That's right.
And hey, and one other thing, and I'll get off. That text message you got, yeah, I mean, I don't understand that excuse LSU using. I mean, Mississippi State graduated, 26, 27, had 4 transfer. Is that right? You had 4 transfer out, and we had a couple opt out. So, I mean, we're in the same boat. We can use the same excuse to them. I guess every school could probably use that excuse. It's just silly. I mean, I called in 3 weeks ago, and I made a statement. How irrational can you think that your team's not taking a step back from what all they lost? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Yeah. You could just sit here and you could see the upset coming. You could just see it. Well, I'll let you go, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Great call. And now, in case you missed it on Facebook, if you missed it, go check out my Facebook page. I shared it at facebook.com/Radio Wyatt, or just look for Chicken Hawk on there because he let it rip. Chicken Hawk on the Davini phone. Mr. Hawk, how you feel today?
Hey, brother, look at him. That's right, Mr. Capital M-R, period. But now, look, I ain't the real mister. I'm going to tell you right now, KJ will never be referred to as KJ anymore. That boy, that young man is Mr. Costello. You know what I'm saying? That fella right there, look, I always tell you and Dr. Brother Brojo to get that basketball glove out. But I'm going to tell you something. That doggone Mr. Costello had that football bat out Saturday, brother. Well, let me tell you something right here, too. It's better to walk it than talk it. And we actually walked it Saturday. Now, here's another thing. To beat a man, you got to beat the man. Woo! Hold on just a minute. I got it down here beside the seat. Hold on. Hey, Dad, hold on one more time. I thought it to work
with me, brother. You know what I'm saying? Brought it to work with me. But look here now. Look here. Oh, yeah, Jonathan McMillan. Look here, brother. Yeah, that was for real. Right there, that was one of them was for you there, Mr. Kubota. And it was for real Saturday, brother. And it's for real today. Now, we don't know about next week, but I think it's probably going to be for real again next week. Here's what I want to know, Matt. Look here. Where in the world did we find this old Silas Mitchell? Where in the world has he been?
Well, hold on. Time out.
Where you been, brother?
Well, hold on. Let's just... If the guy catches that many passes for that many yards and 2 touchdowns, let's get his name right. It's Osiris, not Osiris. Okay, just making sure we know.
Okay. Well, hey, look, I'm so excited right now. It just may be us, Mitchell. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because all of us is behind him. So it may just be us, Mitchell.
Hey, and
you know what I'm saying? But
what do you think about this?
And Callan Hill.
Hold on.
Where do you think about this?
What do you think about this? I misspoke earlier. I said Jonathan said, was that for real? He actually texted me the words, was that legit, with 3 question marks.
Well, hey, look here. I'm real big on my punctuation. If you notice when I text and when I Facebook, real big on that punctuation. I don't like all this LOLN and NIN. You know what I'm saying? And look, John, just one question mark, Bob. There ain't no teacher taught you nowhere at Southern or nowhere else you went to school. Ain't nobody taught you to put no doggone 3-4 explanation, question marks or explanation point. You put a period, you put an explanation. It stands on its own. You know, that's where, look, over here in Morton. Of course, now them children up there at the school up north, they got schooled a little bit. I ain't going to talk about it. Yes, I am. Because my brother-in-law, Big Red, over there in Pearl, I ain't even called Big Red yet because I know he's been crying. So he got his own business. I didn't want his makeup to get messed up this morning.
Chicken Hawk,
okay,
I want you to
I gotta go. I know. Hey, I gotta go. I love you. Hold on. See ya.
See ya. Now I hated so bad. Now I hate that I interrupted his thought because he was about to talk about Colin Hill. And as soon as I interrupted him, JB, next thing I know, he's talking about his brother-in-law, Big Red, who none of us even know him.
I know it, right? but Chicken Hawk's kind of like all of us. He's got a little squirrel in him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the man brought his cowbell to work with him.
When was the last time that happened?
And he's ringing it. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's a quick hour, man. I've never, in my short tenure here, sitting behind the this big yellow dog,
right.
I haven't seen that country pleasing text machine light up that fast. Phone. That phone looked like a Christmas tree.
Listen, I mean, here's the thing. Norman, Jeremy, 3-Hump Camel, Anthony, Jackson Mailman, Jeff, Res Dog, Fletcher, Squirrel, White Denzel, Kevin, Bully Bill, Jason, Russell, Pat, Cowbell, Sean, and my boy Chow Dog have all texted the show, and I haven't even gotten to it yet.
Well, I'll just tell them, we love y'all, man.
Hey, we love y'all. I'm promising I'm going to try to read them next. As soon as we come back to start hour 2, I promise I'll do my best. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
Jackson.
Time.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Let's go. Hour 2 of the show rolling along. And I've got all kinds of good news. You know, teams that won, even some that didn't win, are still coming out of the weekend kind of positive about the direction. You know, I think a lot of Ole Miss fans enjoyed the ball game. Now, they didn't enjoy getting beat, and the defense couldn't stop Florida. Florida's really good, got a great quarterback who was second only to Joe Burrow throwing the ball last year, so they gave up points and yards to Florida. But they really made it exciting, made a bunch of plays on offense. They got an offense I think they're excited about.
I think that quarterback's got an NFL arm.
Which one?
Matt Corral.
Corral?
Yeah, no, I think Trask is definitely who hurt. One of the pundits today, as I was listening to when I opened at Live Oaks, was that they were saying that Trask might be the, and I always hate these comparisons and analogies, but quote unquote the next Joe Burrow. You know, he didn't start that much. His junior year, he didn't really get. They did okay. He was kind of coming to his own.
Yeah.
And now, as Burrow did in 2019,
sure,
some pundits feel maybe Trask is set to do in 2020. But I know probably midway through the second quarter, Corral hit a dude over the middle on a skinny post, and I'm telling you, that ball had to hit close to 80 miles an hour. And then he came back on the very next play and threw a touch pass on a deep post that I looked at my buddy Purple, and I just said, hey, Perp, man, this guy, he's got the arm. He can do it. But their defensive backfield is almost as bad as LSU's was.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, don't have a complete team, and I guess not everybody does, but then when you play somebody who kind of is close to a complete team like Florida, they will just expose whatever your weakness is. But I do think Ole Miss fans are kind of excited. I mean,
I would be if I were them.
And I was joking around with some guys in the LSU press box the other day. I said, okay, I know it's early. What's the score of the Egg Bowl this year? What do you think? And, we had a good laugh about it because it does look like one of those things. And look, Arkansas fans, they lost to Georgia. Georgia, without quarterback settled, not that great, frankly, and not that exciting.
Their starter looked woefully inept in the first half, and then it was replaced in the second half.
Which leads you to question the decision-making going in. You know, I mean, the coaches are at practice every day. They do this for a living, But anyway, but Arkansas, I think fans probably feel a little different. Now, we'll see how long that carries over, if and when it does, and that kind of thing. Okay, so.
Yeah, I think you made a great point to start the show, but also to a couple of callers in the fact that it's week 2, folks.
Yeah.
And now everybody has access to every kind of film there ever was on everybody.
That's right. So a lot of things will change.
Yeah. And everybody's going to tweak, so we'll see.
I guarantee you Arkansas is not going to play a ton of man-to-man coverage against State. They ain't going to do it. They're going to watch the film and go, nope. We're just going to go.
Then what do you think? Those receivers just find that open spot and squat.
Austin Williams may catch 25 passes running that choice route in the hitch.
Yep.
I mean, in the slot right there on the hash like he did the other day, in certain, possession throws, because you back off. Here's the other thing. Go watch the Mike Leach offense of the pass. When teams do that, they get tired of, they don't have the people, or they get tired of getting beaten man-to-man. They back off. They go coverage, 2 safeties, but the cushions increase, and they'll try to rotate it on you to fool the quarterback. What do? They throw 8 screens during a ball game.
Yeah.
Because
they
now
throw everything underneath.
Yeah. They'll throw a screen because now we're going to let the pass rush come get me. I'm going to turn my lineman loose, get blockers out front. We complete the screen, and because of the cushion, now we've got 2-3 more yards before you connect my blockers. So it's a little bit of a chess match. We'll see it start to develop this week. I just feel like this week's going to look a lot different for State's offense than it did last week, and it'll all be based on how the defense is playing. I think that's what we're going to see.
So one of the things that I remember from Leach's time at Texas Tech, I was watching a game one early, 11 o'clock morning when nothing else was on, and one of the commentators was talking about Leach, and it was toward the middle of the second quarter, and they were playing a zone. The defending team was playing a zone. And the commentator said, it's just like every team plays a prevent defense against a leech offense.
Right.
Which makes everything vulnerable 20 yards and closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Make you execute.
Yeah.
And again, it's like saying, okay, well, you had.
We're not going to give the big score to you.
Well, and again, I was pointing it out. The touchdown drives for State against LSU, the touchdown drives were 6 plays, 2 minutes. 7 plays, 2.5 minutes. 1 play, 15 seconds. 5 plays, 1:44. 7 plays, 2.5 minutes. And they're going to go, okay, let's see. The one time that State had a drive that went over 10 plays, they didn't score. They got a field goal out of it. And so Arkansas is going to go in and go, okay, let's see if they can execute that pass game for 12 and 13 play scoring drives, just keep them in front of us. And so the completion percentage for Costello this week is going to go way up. It's a virtual guarantee. Okay.
He may not have as many yards, but I think. But, you made the point, the yak, yards after catch, man.
That's unbelievable.
And 383. Again, so that's almost, that's over half of his total passing yards were after the catch.
That's right. Which, that stat, for those that are just tuning in, if you didn't know what that was, I'm going back here in the timeline. Here it is. Scott Rabelais covers covers LSU. Ed Orgeron had his press conference this morning. And he gave the stat that State had 383 yards receiving after the catch. 2 reasons for that. Man-to-man, so there's no help behind once a catch is made, and State players are in better condition physically than LSU players. Goes back to the coaching. Like I said, and I stand by it, it's proof. Proof's in the pudding. State's coaching staff coach circles around the LSU staff on the sideline and during the game, but before the game as well in preparation. Players clued in better on what they were doing. They were less confused. They were more confident, and they were physically in better shape than LSU. Hey, y'all can text the show. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I say that facetiously because there's a million of them here to get to. So let's do this. Here to start hour number 2. I got plenty of time. We're going to get to some highlights from the game. Later in this hour, we're going to go ahead and begin previewing games for this next week over at Winsipedia.com. Winsipedia.com. We'll do a head-to-head matchup preview. Winsipedia.com. Pick 2 teams that are going to play this weekend. Look at them. And that preview is always brought to you by Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. So that's coming up later in the hour. We're going to get highlights, all that. But there's a load of texts and great comments and thoughts on the games this weekend that had... we had so many calls and everything in hour 1. We just hadn't had a chance to get to all of that. So we're going to try that right now. But I need a little music in the background, so I can't just do it at over plain air. Norman on the Country Pleasing text line said, Matt, I'm no X's and O's guy, but does State have the perfect personnel with the big wide receivers for this offense? Or heck, should everybody be running this? Look... the thing is, they have the tall personnel, 6'5" Osiris Mitchell, 6'6" Shavers on the outside, but they didn't throw a ton of jump balls, did they? Because they didn't really have to. They really hurt them with crossing routes, running away from man-to-man coverage. Where am I? Okay, so Coffee Norman, thanks so much for the text. Jeremy said, I heard Coach O say they prepared for 3 weeks for Mississippi State. Well, and they had to because you had all new defensive team, all new defensive starters, all new defensive staff, all new offensive starters who played at other schools, and all new offensive staff who coached at other schools. 3 Hump Camel says Mullins, Florida, needs to beat Kentucky back-to-back seasons first before they go win the East. That's a good point. Unnamed texter, most fun I've had watching a game in a long time. Dogs are right on track for sure. My dad, watching from Dothan, Alabama, texted me and said, it's the most fun I've had watching a game in a long time. Will, watching on YouTube, says, Matt, your film study on this Mississippi State versus LSU game will be your most watched video. Count on it. Well, maybe so. I think we had, hundreds of thousands of views on a Tua Tagovailoa video for Alabama 2-3 years ago. And that's maybe the most at this point, but maybe it will be. And I got to get to work on it this afternoon. Jackson Mailman said, myself and a couple of state grads were impressed and said, we have a kicker? Brandon Ruiz was automatic, the Arizona State transfer. Think about this, JB.
Talk to me.
Mike Leach from the Pac-12. KJ Costello, Pac-12 transfer. And Brandon Ruiz, Pac-12 transfer.
Yeah, they knew they weren't going to play this year, so they had a little premonition.
How about that? Jeff said the TV announcers were biased for LSU. I think they expected LSU to ultimately come out on top. Well, and that's to be expected. National champs last year, so it's just to be expected. It is what it is. At this point, I think if any of us are getting up in arms about what TV announcers say, the joke's on us at this point. Here's one. CBS announcers made fun of Brule the rest of the game after he went down to begin with. It was awful. Listen, Aaron Brule fought cramps in that same left hamstring all game long. So if they said it was intentional, that was one on the goal line where he raises his hand, he's trying to get off the field. They tell him, get on the ground, because if he tries to get off the field, he's not going to get off in time, and he's going to get caught with 12 men on the field on the goal line. And, it's not like it's going to move it up 15 yards, but you're trying to avoid that. So they just told him, get on the ground.
Yeah, I had a nickname for him.
What's that?
Yeah, after that first just decleater he made right there, I labeled him Cream Brulee.
Cream Brulee. It was perfect. Res Dog said the difference in this game to me was how physical the defense played. They were knocking the snot out of folks. Listen, I'm telling you, that was the surprise for me. I was not surprised that State went out and was throwing and catching. I was not surprised to see them go up and down the field throwing the ball to score points, to have some explosive plays. Seen enough practice to see that it's incredible. I mean, they got it with Costello out there. Defensively, you don't know. And there's all this youth at corner. That's the thing that scares you. Sometimes you can look at it and go, well, even if we're experienced in our front seven, which they are, experienced at defense, 2 sophomores at defensive tackle for State, but they're both really good players. Seniors at defensive end, Spencer and Jones, with a few veteran backups. Errol in the middle of your defense, one of the better linebackers in the SEC. So the front 6, front 7, you have experience. But if you don't have experience and aren't any good on the outside, you go, well, it doesn't matter, because they're just going to jump ball us every now and then in big plays, and LSU had some. But that was the thing to me. Secondary is better than, or was better in that game than people thought. Part of it was, for Miles Brennan, he had no run game. LSU rushed for less than 100 yards. He had no run game, and they sacked him 7 times. Listen, JB, after the ball game was over the other night, I drove and stayed with family in Vicksburg.
Yeah.
So I'm driving home late
I loved your video from Friday night, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That stuff is awesome.
Thank you. We'll plug that. If y'all want to see it, I did a video of the Warren Central Germantown high school game on Friday night. It's on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah,
check
you
it
got
out.
a gift, pal.
Nah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm leaving Baton Rouge, driving home. I turn it over to their flagship down there in Louisiana, 98.1 The Eagle. And it's a post-game, it's like a call-in show, not a part of the network, but on the station. T-Bob Hebert's hosting it with another guy. They did a phenomenal. It was so entertaining. They are so good, by the way. I'm going to text T-Bob and tell him I enjoyed that. I meant to have already done it. Their callers were fantastic. And the accents. And you got people calling from like Homa. And then other people calling into that show from Los Angeles and Texas. And I mean, it was fantastic. And they have all these different accents. It was just, and for the most part, very, I thought, level-headed callers and that kind of thing. But listen, it was a 2.5-hour drive for me from Baton Rouge to Vicksburg, and I'm able to tune into that for about an hour and a half of it. And listen, JB, an hour of that show or more, they just kept calling about Miles Brennan, and this whole long conversation about Miles Brennan. And I'm wanting to say to them, what do you expect?
Had him 3 years, you should have got another quarterback in training.
Well, but what do you expect him to do? Yeah. Okay.
Well, he played pretty good, man.
Find me a college quarterback. Find me a college quarterback, okay, in a pro-style system. We're not talking about an air raid system. I'm talking about a pro-style system, which they have for the most part.
Yeah, they do.
Who has no running game to speak of, who is not fast enough to keep it on a zone read and really threaten the defense. So every time they go zone read, State knows the running back's getting the ball. They have no running game, and he gets sacked 7 times and pressured a bunch more. What do you expect him to do? And they still went up and put up 27 offensive points.
Right. Well, he hit on some big plays, too, now.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
of
wasn't
all
like
the things that they have.
Consistent deal.
Well, of all the things that LSU may have an issue with, I don't think quarterback is anywhere near the top of their list.
No, I think their defensive backfield should be at the top of their list.
Right.
Especially if Stingley can't go another week.
Well, but, and here's what I would ask.
You hit the nail on the head, and I mentioned this at the birthday party we were at watching the game. They had no running attack. They didn't have anybody they could hand the ball to. And you go back and look at LSU over the last 20 years, they've always had somebody in the backfield that's going to get 3 or 4 yards.
Well, and the thing is, part of the reason they didn't have a running game is they had no yards after contact. State hit them and wrapped them up and got them to the ground. Can you remember a time in the game where an LSU running back ran over a State defender? Can you remember a time in the game where an LSU running back spun off of a tackle and then made 10 more yards? It never happened. State got there, hit them, wrapped up. It was some of the best tackling by a State defense you'll see, really, that we have seen.
Especially for a first game with all the predictions that were related around there. I feel like I'm Jake Wimberly now.
But we know what you're saying. See, you don't have to get it right as long as I know what you mean. And I know what you mean. What you're saying is it was abnormal, man.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that pretty much anybody in the country has an excuse built in if we don't tackle that great in our first ball game.
Yeah, just look at the NFL.
Exactly.
After week 3.
You know, to me, I mean, there's so many things to point to there, but, you know, and Miles Brennan is not Joe Burrow, but he shouldn't have to be when you are recruiting the kinds of 4s and 5 stars every year that LSU is. That would be my question. If I'm sitting down going over what happened with the coaching staff, here's what I want to know. Hey, boys, why are your players tired? Mm-hmm. And they aren't.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well, and you didn't get to see it like the average Joe did watching it on TV. But when they would show Brennan, when he would go over and sit on the bench and the other 3 quarterbacks were sitting around him, there was no life. None of them looked at each other in the face, and they all had this blank stare of like, well, what's going to happen now?
Hey, by the way, I can't even remember the guy's name right now. Finley? Yeah, Finley. There's a backup quarterback at LSU. He's a freshman. His last name is Finley. He is Jamarcus Russell 2.0. The guy is 6'6", 240-something pounds. And you ought to see him throw it. I'm telling you, they may
sling it.
Oh my heavens! I'm talking about. I had fun just watching him in warm-ups, watching this guy throw the ball.
So, as our buddy would say, he's a fair flinger of footballs.
He is a fair flinger for sure of footballs. Let's qualify. He's a fair flinger of footballs. Back to the text line. Let me see if I can get through some of them here. Unnamed texter said, so what do SEC defensive coordinators do differently from Pelini when trying to stop State's offense? As I told you, there'll be a whole lot more zone coverage at times mixed in and people backing off, making you throw the ball underneath more. And then coming up, try to rake it out, create turnovers, stuff like that. Question about it down and distance. Seems like it was second quarter. This is an unnamed texter. It was 3rd and 2, deep in our own territory. Called timeout, goes to commercial. When the play resumes, it's now 3rd and 5. It's Corey from Tupelo. I don't remember it exactly. I'd have to go back and look, so I can't give you an exact answer. White Denzel, Matt, 2 questions because you practiced against it. Why is the 3-3-5 so hard to play against? And also, how huge is adding Jamar Chaney to State staff? Well, it's huge. They are getting a lot out of the guys they have. But I just think, again, a trademark of Joe Lee's defenses back in those late 90s, they had lockdown corners, NFL corners, okay, Bean and Smoot, which you lock down the outside in man-to-man a whole bunch. The whole game comes to the middle, and now it's a totally different deal on how you blitz and when you can blitz. Joe Lee Dunn's great quote was, when you blitz, one of the bands is going to get to play its fight song. And I love it because it's true. It's risky, but it also can pay off big. So it's not all about, here's the thing. Almost every defense has a version of the 3-3-5 that they use at times. Nickel. Even LSU started the game, tried to throw a hiccup in there and runs a 3-man front some, and then went to the 4-3 primarily after that. So, what is it that's so tough? What was tough about Joe Lee's is they're just blitzing all the time, playing zero coverage because they're so good in the secondary. They can play man against anybody in the country. They don't have to worry about safety help. So when they don't have to worry about safety help, they just come after you, force you to throw it quick. You got to throw it while you're getting hit. It's nothing's comfortable. Kevin said, the quick scoring drives make it more impressive, not from offensive standpoint because the air raid is supposed to put up big numbers, but because State's defense has to be in great shape. And they have to be deep because they're on the field a lot. You said I saw Mummy average 49 points a game at Belhaven, but the defense gave up 51. Defense will have to stay healthy to remain winning. Well, to maintain winning, no question about it. They must stay healthy. Errol Thompson must stay healthy. Marquise Spencer, hugely underrated part of their game on Saturday, must stay healthy. Russell said, MSU tackled so well in the open field, I feel like that was a big difference from last season. Mentality, no question. No question. There's definitely a difference. I'm going as fast as I can, and I can't possibly catch up to all the texts we've gotten so far. We'll continue to make our way through as best as I can. I got a long way to go, JB.
No.
Do I just throw my...
No kidding, man.
Do I just throw my hands up and admit I can't get to all of them, or do I keep trying?
I just think you try to be on that rapid text line.
Yeah. All right.
You can do it, man. You can do it.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. I'm not sure I believe you, but I appreciate it. We'll try it. Coming up, more text. Reaction Monday.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sauce. It's countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone.
Now back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
All right, here we go. Y'all can call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059, or text me on the Country Pleasin' Sausage text line, 885-ESPN. That's a 601 number, both of those 601 area code. So text me at 885-ESPN or 885-3776. What's up to everybody on Facebook, on watching the live stream there, and on Periscope, and on YouTube? Caleb, watching on Periscope, said you need to visit PCS for one of those Hometown Heroes videos. I really do. I had a great time putting the video together and getting to go to the Warren Central versus Germantown game. If y'all want to see that Hometown Heroes video, it's on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Radio Wyatt. It's on YouTube as well. Just look for me there, Matt Wyatt Media. It's on my Twitter feed and everything else, too. It's a good way to look for it. Sven says... who's Grant Wells? He says, in my humble opinion, Grant Wells is the best quarterback I saw this year so far. The dude is amazing. Watch a Marshall game and you will say, okay, so he's Marshall's quarterback. Thanks for the heads up. Grant Wells, Marshall. I will definitely look for it. JW on Facebook says, I remember that as well. The 3rd and 2, we gained 3 yards to come up 2 yards short on first down, had to punt. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Y'all said it was in the second quarter? Seems like if it was something way out of whack, we would have noticed it on the broadcast. But the truth is, I mean, sometimes things definitely do slip through the cracks a little bit. Here's what it sounded like on the radio. Speaking of the radio broadcast, some of the calls from my broadcast partner Neil Price on Saturday in Baton Rouge from Learfield IMG.
3 receivers left, 1 right. Marks the running back. Costello takes the snap, throws left. Mitchell pulls it in behind the defense. First down inside the 30. Down the sideline, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Osiris Mitchell. KJ, 3-step drop, pressured up the middle, throws. Hill pulls it in, sheds a tackle. 35. Kylan spins off another man, 40. Breaks another tackle at the 42. Up to the 45. Drops his shoulder and runs through a defender as he gets shoved out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Brennan gets a snap. State brings 4. Brennan throws across the middle. That's caught by Boutte, who gets his Boutte planted at the 35-yard line. Marquis Spencer said, meet my right shoulder. LSU gets the first down as Boutte gets tackled at the 35, a pickup of 6, 1st and 10. Brennan hitting the backfield, sacked back near the 25-yard line. He was backpedaling, and Marquis Spencer makes another big hit. Costello takes a shotgun snap, floats it out left side. Hill pulls in a high pass, has the first down across the 35, across the 45, breaks a tackle, 50. Go, Kylan, go! 20, 10, 5, to the house! Touchdown, Kylan Hill! Costello takes a shotgun snap, looking left, throws to the end zone for Williams, pulls it in, touchdown, Mississippi State! Austin Williams. 3 receivers right, 1 left. Hill in the backfield with Costello, who takes the snap. Slings it for the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs! Osiris Mitchell. Oh, my! And he's put Mississippi State in front 43-34 and over the right shoulder grab in the back right of the end zone. Likely the final snap here. Brennan drops, steps up, slings this one into the end zone. It is intercepted by Mississippi State. In the front right corner of the end zone, Emmanuel Forbes, freshman from Grenada, with his first career pick. That's the final play of the game, and Mississippi State is 1-0. The air raid bombs the Bayou today. 632 yards of total offense. KJ Costello, the first Mississippi State quarterback to throw for 600 yards in a game, as he throws for 623, and Mississippi State defeats LSU 44-34.
Those calls from Neil Price, Bulldog Radio Network, from Learfield IMG College. I hope State fans help you understand how fortunate we are to have Neil. He is really outstanding. Butte gets planted on his butte.
None better than the air raid bombs the Bayou.
Wasn't that great?
Oh, that's perfect.
And I can tell you from knowing Neil, too, it's not something he sits down and plans those things out all the time either. Nothing's like super contrived. That makes it even better. Bulldog Barney on the text line says, praise to the special teams, defense, and receivers catching the ball. We've had so many drop balls in the past that cost us some games. Those guys had fly trap hands on Saturday. I like that term. Fly trap hands. A couple more texts, and I'm coming to the phone. Cowbell said, hey, Matt, I've heard it asked, why Leach is able to be so much more successful with this air raid than other coaches who have attempted to run it. Could it be that he just believes in it more? For example, in a 3rd and 2 situation with a returning SEC leading rusher in your backfield, how many of those other coaches would be willing to still put the ball in the air? That's a good point. You know, originators versus imitators, okay? Talent is another thing. Mike Leach has told you this. He doesn't. It's one thing I think we have to understand about Mike Leach is he doesn't say things like this to just throw it out there. He's actually saying things that he really believes to be true when he says like what he has said, which is one major difference in taking over this state job versus when he took over at Texas Tech versus when he took over at Washington State. Got much better players to work with here. I mean, he said it. And so speed and athleticism and ability. Okay, you got a quarterback in KJ Costello who, after that 2018 season, they're already thinking he's going to the NFL. Surprises him, kind of comes back, right? And, the talent is there. That's what we got to say. Now, that said, it's going to be different each week, and the games will be different each week. But I think, the originator versus not, there's something to be said for that. Oliver is hanging on the Davini Equipment phone. Thanks for calling, Oliver. What's up?
Hell State, I think we're about to hang another 600 to 800 on Arkansas, and I wasn't really impressed with Arkansas and Georgia, so there's going to be another 600 on them. So there's 6,000 yards in passing yards for J.K. Costello.
Oliver, thanks for the call. I'll tell you this much. It's not going to take 500 yards every week to beat some people, but you may get it. I tell you what, you may get it. There have been predictions in the past where we went, boy, that seems a little bit steep. Well, I'm not a gambler. Brett McMurphy on Twitter says the most significant changes right now in odds to win the college football playoff are Miami up from 300 to 1. Now they're 30 to 1. And then Mississippi State, we're at 500 to 1. Now they're up to 60 to 1. So they've made the biggest jumps in terms of the odds and where they are. Sean on the Country Pleasing text line says, on another show, they said that LSU was 127th in returning starters and State was 115th. So not a lot of difference there. Plus one school didn't have to install a whole new offense and the other one did. My buddy Chow Dog says, isn't it known that Leach wins some games he's not supposed to, but loses some that he's supposed to win? Yeah, it's true. been a characteristic of that. And a lot of times it will come down to a little tweak in a game plan. Somebody figures something out.
Does that sound like Dan Mullen?
You get out adjusted, yeah. You get, in matchups too, Sometimes, you may run up on a team that maybe they're not that great in their front seven, but they got great DBs and they cover that particular day on man-to-man. And, State's got a lot of things they can do a lot better, including taking care of the football too. Pat on the Country Pleasing text said Costello is a tough guy also. He stood in there, took some shots yesterday, still delivered, not to knock on Stevens, but I don't think he takes those shots last year and stays in. Team seems pretty hard-nosed overall, and I agree with that. He had that one big throw up the sideline early in the game where he had a guy bearing down on him unblocked and just clobbered him as he lets it go. And that's the kind of play that NFL people sit up and go, hey, show me that one again. I want to see that one. There's a lot of guys who can stand in a clean pocket and hit a wide open guy or make a play when you're not getting hit. But when you're back there, you're about to get pressured. Here comes a guy breathing down on you. He's going to hit you, and it does not affect your accuracy at all. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. Let's just say here, unnamed texter says, fun fact on Sirius just now, Coach Mike Leach has been an FBS head coach. I don't understand. Well, those two texts don't line up. I don't know if you sent it to somebody else, but I don't get it. Maybe it's just a typo. Thanks for texting the show. Kyle said, Arkansas fans think they can get us this weekend. Not sure if they have the horses to pull that one off. My head is still spinning from the weekend with this team. I thought we'd be good. Dang, those boys are darn good. Imagine what we can do after we clean things up. Listen, this is one thing I think that probably is a positive too, is that you do have an older coach who seems to be pretty grounded because he knows, one like that, you start the year like that, you better put it behind you real quick. Real quick. Everybody's going to have film. I guarantee you this will not be a pleasant week at practice for State. I promise you. Because what you don't want is an entire team of guys thinking you've already accomplished something. It's one game out of 10. You don't accomplish something until all 10 of them are in the books. And then we look back at it and see how we did. That one better go to bed real quick. They'll coach them really hard this week and impress upon them how much improvement they need. That's what good coaching staffs do. That's what they will do. All right, coming up, we'll go to the phone. We'll get Jack in here. If you can hang on, Jack, just hang with us. I'll come to you. And then we'll take a look at a matchup this weekend, a head-to-head matchup. A couple of news pieces. One, Vanderbilt is announcing that they are going to allow students to attend their game this weekend when they host LSU. And then the other is, I see a note here that quarterback JT Daniels of Georgia has been cleared to play this weekend. And they play Auburn, by the way. So there you go. Reaction Monday. I'm going to have a little more coffee here during the break from High Point Roasters in New Albany. You do the same, and we'll be back in just a sec. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. the best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from there. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence or order it online or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree
right here on the Matt Wyatt Show.
All right, back with you. Jack has been hanging on for a pretty good little while here on the Davini Equipment phone line. I appreciate that, Jack. What's up? Thanks for calling.
Hey, Matt, just a few things. One, first of all, I thought the team in all phases of the game looked extremely well prepared, and they played physical. They played fast. They were just a very well prepared team. They looked in midseason form for a first game without a spring, so I thought that was extremely impressive. But on all special teams, all of it, defense, offense. Second thing is, I thought it took about a quarter for the speed of the game to come to them, for them to get used to the speed of the game. I thought about a quarter or so, and once that happened, I thought Costello and the offensive line and all that, it really started to gel. You could see they got their timing down. The key to that, to me, and you may have talked about it, I didn't listen to the first 40 minutes of the show, but they were early in the game, but they were big conversions when we were still it wasn't real fluid yet, but with those tough catches by Gardner. I think they were both third down conversions, too, in the first or early in the second quarter. Cameron Gardner, is that his name?
Yeah, Cameron Gardner.
From Starkville.
That's right.
I thought those were two really key clutch plays in that first half, because if LSU could have maybe ever gotten the lead and kind of gotten some momentum, who knows what would have happened. But I think that was for, the touchdowns and all that, what people remember. But those were tough catches he made, I thought, and were really critical to get the ball rolling, I thought. But anyway, I thought it was an impressive display and of how the team was prepared. And like I said, they were fast, physical. I'm really surprised how physical they played too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was an impressive feat.
Yep. I was the same way, Jack. I was, if we go surprise, what surprised you? Well, I was surprised by how physical and tough that defensive unit was as a whole and how well they tackled. I was surprised by it.
How they tackled. The tackling was that was what was really impressive to me, was how well they tackled. I don't really remember any missed tackles. Maybe one.
Yeah.
Not many compared to what we saw the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with conditioning. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the getting there a step sooner, having a little more, I don't know, energy, strength, something.
They played with juice the whole game.
Yeah.
They played with juice the whole game.
They did.
People think Leach is a finesse team, and that he has finesse teams. Mike Leach is tough, and his teams are disciplined and tough, and that's what he. There's nothing finesse about that football team, and even on offense, that was a back and forth game. Lead changes and ties and all that, and especially as it got in the third quarter, early fourth. That's Mississippi State teams in the past, when those punches would come back and forth, that they would fold. This team didn't blink and came. You know what I mean? And it was and I think goes to the toughness of Mike Leach and how he runs his program and his team.
Sure. Good call, Jack. Appreciate you. So 10 different receivers are credited for catching a pass for State. And
when was the last time that happened?
Well, one of them, it's really 9 because one of them is your starting right tackle, Dollar Bill Johnson.
Dollar Bill.
Quatravius Johnson. You remember that? They had a batted ball and it came down and he caught it for negative 3 yards.
He thought he was Jimmy Graham.
Well, I'm thinking there's a joke in there somewhere. 10 guys catch passes, including your right tackle. You're throwing it around a lot. I don't know exactly how to make the joke because I'm not a funny guy, but I'm sure somebody could. Could do it. Real quick, PT for MSU on the Country Please and text line. He's talking about my drive from Baton Rouge back to Vicksburg. He said you probably drove through my hometown of Natchez then. No, the GPS actually took me up. I avoided Natchez. It took me up. What's that highway through the country there in Franklin County? Highway 33. That it kind of brought me up this side of the river. I never went over to Natchez. Well, I say this side of the river. I just never went into Natchez. It stayed up through the country, 2-lane road.
You went up through Meadville, Bude, that area?
No, Centerville.
Oh, yeah, Centerville. That's my hometown, man.
Okay, Centerville.
Give a shout out down there.
Franklin County, but there was another town or two that I went through, and I'm drawing a blank on the name right now.
Well, if you came through Centerville, you went up through Liberty?
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. You went right past East Fork, man.
Right, Amite County, because I saw the signs. Is it Amite or Amite?
I say Amite County, but some people say Amite, but most people down there. But it reminds me of this dude.
What a big one.
That's right. That's him.
That's right.
I was
there
not
where he's
far.
from, man. Right
I saw
there,
the signs that said Liberty, Mississippi. I knew I was close.
Oh,
that's great. Peanut Butter Falcon said Leach could never beat Washington while at Washington State. Closest say it's because they only rushed 3 and dropped 8 into coverage. Do you think we see some of that? Oh yeah, no question about it. We may see it this weekend. Some teams are going to do it. You're going to drop everybody, make you throw it into zones, and try to get batted balls and jump your routes and that kind of stuff. Put some pressure on you with 3. And if they get pressure with 3, then you're really in trouble. Bookworm says, did A&M play? They did. They struggled with Vanderbilt. Got by them, just kind of squeezed by. It certainly was not pretty. Bully Bill says, Corey is right. It was a 3rd and 7. 5-yard penalty. Should have been 3rd and 2. Turn the TV on. It's 3rd and 5. Yeah, Hal, you're right. I went through Roxy in Franklin County. That's right. I went through Roxy,
did you see
Mississippi.
I know Bully Bill didn't send that to us, but it was from Brooks' show, but it looks like he had something pretty good to eat Saturday.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm seeing deviled eggs, sausage and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a burger sans the bun.
I mean, all that's good and it tastes good going down. You don't want to hang out with Bully Bill an hour later, though. That's what I'm going to say.
I had some killer deviled eggs Saturday.
I love them. I sure do, but I'm not sure the
my
family
man
does.
Greg, who saw you Friday night.
Yeah.
We had some deviled eggs together on Saturday, and it was so funny. He showed up pregame, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the game, I look up and I ask his brother, I said, "Where'd your brother go?" He goes, he couldn't handle the pressure. He had to go home.
Yeah.
And he went and sat by himself house until
that is
midway through
fantastic.
the fourth quarter.
That is fantastic. JW brings up a good point on Facebook. He says, if you want to rush 3 and drop 8, hello, Kylan Hill. That's one thing that Kylan Hill and those running backs give you. That is another maybe type of back that he didn't have at some of these other places. So it's not so much what you do, it's whether or not you execute it. And man, that sounds like coach speak, but listen, it's so true. It really is true. Okay? All right, let's do it right now. Head-to-head matchup preview brought to you by Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. And he can help you buy or sell that piece of property. He's got the 360-degree interactive drone touring, so you can see the whole property 360 from a drone without ever even going out there. It's really cool when you're shopping. So you need to shop. Let Matt be your land guy. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him at 408-5155, 601-408-5155. You got one of the oldest rivalries, if not the oldest, in the SEC. It's going to take place this weekend during this COVID-adjusted schedule. It's Georgia and Auburn. I don't know where it is. Well, where was it last year? Last year it was in Austin. So this will be in Athens this year. I'm at Winsipedia.com. Winsipedia.com. You can take any two teams in the country, compare them, look at the overall series history, who won, lost, when, the actual timeline, all that stuff. So let me give you some details. Auburn, Georgia are going to play this weekend. The current win streak in the series, Georgia has won 3 in a row. It's in Athens. JT Daniels, a USC transfer, former 5-star, is cleared to play for Georgia. Of course he is. The overall series is owned by Georgia as well, and man, it is narrow. Look at this. Georgia leads the series 60-56. There are 8 ties in the series way back when we used to have ties. Georgia's really dominated the thing recently, and obviously. I mean, they've won 3 in a row. They've won 6 out of the last 7. Okay. Let's see. 6 out of the last 7, 8, 9, 10. And so therefore they've won 8 out of the last 10. Good grief. Georgia's won 8 out of the last 10. 2011 beat them 45-7. 2012 beat them 38-0. 2013, good Auburn team, played for the national championship, beat Georgia 43-38. Remember that miraculous play at the end. 2014, Georgia beat them in Athens 34-7. 20-13 the next year. 2016, they won a low-scoring game 13-7. Auburn whipped them in 2017 40-17. Was that Kirby Smart's first year? 17?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. And then the last 3, Georgia 28-7 over Auburn in Atlanta, the SEC title game. 27-10 2 years ago in the regular season. And then last year, Georgia beats them 21-14. So
I take that back. I think Kirby Smart's first year was 2018. I think that was Rick's last year.
Okay.
2017.
Okay.
Because Kirby's only been there 2 years.
Well, that would
right?
make sense then.
Yeah.
No, it says Kirby. Okay, so it was
does
Kirby.
say Kirby?
Yep.
Okay, so he's been there. This is his 3rd year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look at the rest of them and see.
I misremembered my remembering.
Thanks, Roger Clemens. Misremembered. No such thing, sir. Somebody tell Roger that. Roger Clemens, that is. Auburn at Georgia this weekend. The all-time series. Georgia 60-56. Georgia's won 3 in a row. Ought to be interesting. That's hour 2. Hour 3 coming up. No, wait a minute. Is that right? Yeah, hour 3 is coming up. Stick around.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with autopay and paperless billing. Even without autopay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, you know, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
studio.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at the Zone, 1059.com, and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, let's go. Hour 3 of the show. Off and running with you in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Hometown heroes, that's what your local Farm Bureau insurance agents are. This hour, third hour of the show every day, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. If you're headed to Starkville for anything, moving up there permanently, headed up there to look at some investment property, yeah, Or maybe, you're headed in for ball games, 5 home games this year in football. Maybe it's this spring in baseball. You need a condo, a place to stay when you come into town. It's yours. Well, they can help you with all of that. Overstreet Properties. Tell Kane Overstreet I said hello when you go by there, or just look them up online at overstreetproperties.com. Now, it's kind of a Reaction Monday. Well, not kind of. It is a Reaction Monday. Lots of texts to get to. I still want to get to those. Lots of great thoughts and points, and there's so much feedback today. It's kind of been hard for me to kind of stay caught up, but I'll do the best I can. I will give you a heads up in just in a few minutes. Mike Leach is scheduled to have his weekly press conference. Now, last week at 2 p.m. Central Time, he was scheduled to have his first weekly press conference, and it didn't start until 2:40 or 2:43 or whatever it was. So there's a chance it doesn't start on time. All right. And if you're superstitious, I don't know, you beat LSU this week, maybe you don't want it to start on time. So in the meantime, while we wait to see when Coach Leach is going to get there and start his presser, hear what he says about all that. We'll tune into some of it live, not all of it, but some of it. In the meantime, I have news for you. Buddy, listen. Now, you have heard me talk about country pleasing sausage. I mention it when you text me on the country pleasing text line at 885-ESPN, 885-ESPN, or 885-3776. Country pleasing sausage comes from Country Meat Packers, Highway 49, Florence, Mississippi, sending out the best meat products all over the United States. Sausage in grocery store shelves all over the Southeast, and now all over Mississippi State's campus. Announcement. Mississippi State Athletics and its multimedia rights holder, Bulldog Sports Properties, announced today a new partnership with Country Meat Packers. Starting this season, the Mississippi-based Country Pleasing Sausage will be the official sausage provider for the Bulldogs. I think that...
Well, I guess that means you got a few more packs coming your way.
Well, I must admit, Cameron tweeted me and said, Matt will gain 75 pounds in the press box by the Georgia game. Well, I don't care. In fact, I do care. I've been eating country pleasing sausage every day, and I still lost all this weight because I wanted to.
Well, and it's protein, and you're monitoring the other intake that you have.
That's right.
So it's not like you're going out and loaded up on M&M's cupcake pies. You know.
Country Pleasing will serve a variety of sausage dogs and concessions at Mississippi State Athletics facilities, including Davis Wade Stadium, Humphrey Coliseum, and Duty Noble Field. Yes, for a little basketball. Mississippi State style. Isn't that what Hank Flick used to say?
Yeah, man. He's my man.
The country pleasing tradition began in 1976, 44 years ago, the same year that I began my tradition. With a knack for producing quality smoked sausage, the Hickory Slow smoked sausage consists of only freshly made pork, never frozen, and it carefully is made with the perfect blend of authentic seasoning in each batch. I ate jalapeno and cheddar country pleasing sausage this morning for breakfast, and I'm really, really happy about it. Can't tell you how happy I am for you because, listen, as a fan, you're going to go to these games and you're going to get the sausage dog and you're going to get the different dishes that they have there available to you from Country Pleasing, and it's going to be the best you've ever had. And if you haven't had it, now if you have, it'll just match it. Okay, but you get the point. Really tickled for them. All right, Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, waiting for the Mike Leach press conference to start. Last week it was 40 minutes behind. Right now we're only at about 5. Who cares? Fletcher says, Cooley, Totten, and Rice are back in Mississippi with new names. Leach, KJ, and Mitchell. How about that?
That's a pretty good analogy.
That is a pretty good. Thanks, Fletcher. Trey said Austin Williams has glue for hands. They call him Mr. Reliable. Steve Spurrier Jr. Calls him that. Mr. Reliable. He just catches everything. And he's really good, smart receiver in the middle of the field, in and around those linebacker safeties, finding those throwing lanes to hook up in. They did that. They converted some to him the other day. There were big opportunities. In fact, I could tell you the one or two that were particularly, I thought, big later in the ball game. Okay, so you go to the fourth quarter. He has a catch on 1st and 10 for 13. He had a 9-yarder for the touchdown. They come right back. They go to him on 1st and 10. They had a 2nd and 5 conversion where he catches one for 14 late in the ball game. Let's see, who were the third? You had, I think, 8 third down conversions or third down completions in the ball game? I think it was 8. Anyway, Cameron Gardner caught one on 3rd and 20 for 24 yards. Terrell Shavers caught one on 3rd and 10 for 31 yards. It was a touchdown. Javonte Payton on 3rd and 2 had a 13-yard reception. 3rd and 11, 43-yard touchdown to Osiris Mitchell. They went to Jaden Walley on a 3rd and 9, but he didn't catch it. They weren't able to hook up. Javonte Payton had a 34-yard reception on 3rd and 10. Third downs anymore? 3rd and 9, Osiris Mitchell, touchdown from 24 yards away. 3rd down. So there you go. Just a little bit of, if I can't be exact, what can I be? Joe said, did State win the national championship Saturday? LOL. Joe, no. No. But I will say, after a long off season, it sort of feels that way. It sort of feels like a minor championship just to have played. You know what I mean? But no, they didn't win the national championship. But they, I think they served some notice to a lot of people. Lawrence on Facebook says, but tell Austin Williams he doesn't have to make a fair catch on a punt inside the 5-yard line. But if that's all I have to complain about, life is good. Well, here's the thing, Lawrence. Some coaches, Mullen used to do this too. You know, the prevailing wisdom always has been that as a punt returner, you put your feet on the 10-yard line, and if the ball goes over your head, you let it go. But if it's at you or in front of you, catch it, right? But some coaches change it and they do the 5-yard line. Mullen did that for several teams. He said, let's don't do the 10. You catch it at the 5. If it goes over your head, let it go. But if it's in front or at you, catch it. So I don't know this, but they may be doing a 5-yard line on this unit. And if they are, he was right at about the 5, kind of in no man's land when he caught it. So it's just something to think about. Special K on the Country Pleasing text line said, people need to pump the brakes on predicting the rest of the year after one game. But I will give credit where credit is due. And the Pirate is a great coach and can get them where State fans want them to be. But you can't start talking about yards and we say a national championship after one great game. One game is one game. You win it, call an upset, but exactly. Right? You still haven't accomplished anything yet. All right, Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. The oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S. In fact, That means they've been doing it better, longer than anyone else. That's at Divinity. Jason in Flagstaff. What's up, Jason?
Nothing much. You hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right. Last week. I love him back, and he's welcome in Flagstaff anytime he wants, especially if he brings me some deer meat.
I hear you. That's great.
And on Chris's show, he asked he was asking folks what the difference between Leach's offense and everybody else's was.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I noticed. It seems like he wants Costello to get the ball out of his hand as quick as possible to whoever the defense leaves open. And that is going to limit what the defensive lines can do.
Right.
As opposed to like Moorhead, who dictated that they take several deep shots a game and got the quarterbacks hitting the mouth quite a bit.
Right. That's right.
What I saw.
Man, that's true. An offensive lineman's best friend is not an extra blocker, a tight end, a back, a play call. An offensive lineman's best friend is fatigue on the other side of the ball. Yeah. Because those big guys, they don't recover. A lot of times they don't recover as quickly. You get them to a certain point from a fatigue standpoint. It's hard for that big defensive tackle to come back from that during the course of a game. And so getting it out of your hands does wear them out. And that's the danger, Jason, for if Arkansas comes in here and makes this adjustment that I predicted, which is they're going to watch the film and go, man, LSU's trying their best, and they were kind of overconfident to play all this man-to-man. It just got them torched a bunch of times. We're going to go in there, and we're going to go 2 high safeties, back off, give them cushion, and they're, instead of going on 6-play scoring drives like they did against LSU, they may beat us, but we're going to force them to go on 12-play scoring drives against us. Okay, well, the danger in that is that's that many more plays consecutively that defensive front's going to be on the field.
Wow.
And if I'm the quarterback and you're giving me the underneath in the Mike Leach offense, they'll take the underneath throw every time. You're exactly right. They will call a ton of screen passes because you've already given us cushion. It'll work a little better. So we'll run a bunch of screens. And what linemen you do have on the field are going to be absolutely dragging their tongues around the field by the time you get into the late second quarter. So there's a risk in it. There sure is.
Yeah. You know what else that screams to me?
What's that?
When you're mentioning screen passes, that means Callan Hill's going to get that many more passes, and those little DBs are going to be asked to tackle the guy that's been breaking tackles his whole career.
Yeah. I want to say it was, I hope I'm getting this right because I don't want to miss. I think, Jason, if you go back on YouTube and you watch the 2018 season with Gardner Minshew at quarterback at Washington State, and I think it was the Oregon game where Oregon, who has really good players, personnel, seemed to take that philosophy into the game of we will give you cushion and we will force you to go on longer drives and run more plays with shorter completions as opposed to giving you an opportunity to hit us down the field. And in that game, as a counter to that, Washington State ran like 8 screen passes in that ball game in the first 3 quarters of that game because they had a good back, and it was like they were saying, okay, look, you're going to give all this space at the line of scrimmage. We'll complete slants and stuff too, but we'll throw a little running back screen. You can come up here and tackle him, and you won't even get up here until he's already made 4 yards. Plus, he's got linemen in front of him. So there will be some chess match going on. It'll start this week.
There was one year when he was at Texas Tech, and I can't remember the year it was, but if you look at the stats, it's easy to find, where he had a running back that ended up playing some pro ball, and he used him in the running game quite a bit more than he usually does.
Yes.
You think there's any of that going on this year as teams, react to the passing game?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think so. Hey, and Jason, I think that guy's name was it Jamal Morrow? I think it was Morrow.
It might have been.
Yeah, I think it was
It
Morrow.
might have been.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
I think that's the year they beat Oklahoma and all that.
Okay.
So anyway, I'll get off here. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too, Jason. Appreciate the call. I mean, just having weapons. And look, let's be honest, that as the season develops, and even as we try to sit here and speculate, I sit here and speculate and try to predict and guess what Arkansas is going to do when they come in there. The thing is, you're not, in terms of personnel, you're not playing against a bunch of guys who are totally one-dimensional, as far as you know. Because they do have over there at State last year's leading rusher in the SEC. They can run the ball. They showed it. They popped a couple of runs. Marks had a nice run, 10, 11 yards on his first carry of the ball game. So they can do it, mix in the run game. And that may be one way you come back and adjust. And I mean, think about it too. If you're sitting in the coach's room for Mississippi State this week, I mean, you're going to do what you do. You're going to execute it. You don't have to go out and try to be fancy just yet. But the thing is, you're also going to go, well, we do know that the guys on the other side of Arkansas, they're going to spend all week long working on coverage and working on crossing routes. And, how are you in the right position to take away throwing lanes when you're in zone coverage and they go run and mesh at you in the middle of the field and all this stuff. They're going to work on that a bunch.
4.5 minutes till we go to a break.
But maybe they're not going to work as much on gap responsibility versus zone run. I mean, they ain't going to think about that as much. So, you just have to kind of see where that might go. All right, a couple of news items for you. As expected, KJ Costello is the SEC's Offensive Player of the Week. Broke a record in the 44-34 win. You knew that. I mean, let's see, what is the record again? 623 yards passing. Single game passing record in the SEC. 11th in NCAA history. The other players of the week in the SEC: Ventrell Miller, linebacker, Florida. Jake Camarda, the punter from Georgia. Special teams player. Freshman of the week, Jalen Simpson, DB Auburn. Offensive lineman of the week, Brett Heggie, the center from Florida. Defensive lineman of the week, DeAndre Johnson, the edge rusher out of Tennessee, and they beat South Carolina 31-27. Hawk!
And real quick, you think about what Costello did, and then you turn around and look at the fact that Kyle Trask was 30 for 42 for 416 and 6 TDs.
Yeah.
And even Matt Corral was
Right.
22 for 31, 395 and 3 TDs.
Right.
That's some serious yardage from those three cats.
And even though there are some, exceptions to the rule, JB, I think we are seeing what we thought, and that is offenses have an advantage.
Yeah.
Abbreviated preseason and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
All right, Hawk is back on the phone. That guy, yep, that Hawk, Chicken Hawk. What's up, Mr. Hawk?
Hey, brother, did you stop by the station on your way back?
Hey, I was unable. I didn't get down there in time on Friday. I was headed straight to Warren Central for the football game, and so I did give JB and Beaver the heads up because I didn't want any of that to go to waste.
Yeah, Beaver got them all.
Okay, so Beaver got a hold of it.
Who got? Like, look, I saved that Kinder match for you, Matthew.
Hey, you're kind of breaking up, Chicken Hawk. Listen, I hope you can hear me. I really do appreciate it. I really, genuinely want you to know I do appreciate it. It was just that I wasn't able to get there in time, and the last thing I wanted it to do was sit there and ruin without somebody taking it home, putting it in the freezer, or cooking it,
Well, the first deer I kill, I will get some backstrap and give you some, okay?
All right. That'll be great. And I'll have some chances to get down there.
What time you going to be at the stadium this weekend?
Oh, well, is this a 6:30 game?
Yeah, me and Lou Bell's going to probably get up to start Vegas about 3. We're going to go to the lodge and probably go to Harvey's and get something to eat and, then ease up and get our seats, I guess.
Attaboy. I think I'm going to get in town probably about the same time, around 3 o'clock.
Well, you want to go to Harvey's?
No. I'm going to get country pleasing sausage in the broadcast booth this week.
Oh, well, I got everything. That's what you don't advertise, too. Maybe Henry don't tell folks, but I want to advertise real quick. Look, he has choice and he has prime cuts of beef. he got some of the best steaks. And look, his pork chops, man, like I usually get my steaks 2 inches. I get my pork chops an inch. He's got boudin, 2 or 3 different flavors. Look, that dude has got it going on over there. And like I say, Henry used to do my deer meat back in around the 80s and the 90s before he got so big and got so wonderful. So anyway, y'all eat you some, especially now. Hell, steak. Look, even you children at the school up north, you'll get some protein so you can hang with the big dog. Woof, woof. Hell, steak. Eat some of Henry Cooper's sausage. All right? Eat it.
See ya. He's right. It's the best stuff you've ever had. I was at my in-laws' house on Friday after the ball game. I go in there. It's late. We get over there Friday night. I open the refrigerator to put a drink in there to get it cold at my in-laws' house. And he had a package of pepper jack and green onion.
Oh, yeah.
And that was some of the first that I ever got a hold of.
That's my favorite, man.
I love the green onion too, JB. And I hadn't had any in a while. You don't know how tempted I was.
I had some Saturday.
Did you really?
I did.
Man, you don't know how tempted I was. Just open the package. It was 10 o'clock at night. Open the package, cook some, eat it, and caution to the wind. But I didn't do it. I didn't know if he was saving it for something or what. But
you can always buy more.
That's right. That's right. All right, so Hour 3 presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Overstreetproperties.com. Continues along here, waiting on the Mike Leach press conference to start. We'll check it out for a few minutes anyway. Plenty to get to, though, thanks to you, so stick around.
Ever feel like making an appointment with your doctor takes a lot of time, only to feel rushed through the actual appointment? Avoid the hassle at Capital Ortho, where our board-certified
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. country pleasing sauce. It's countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, country pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and worldwide online at The Zone, 1059.com.
All right, back with you, rolling along here. Hour 3 presented by Overstreet Properties, Starkville, or Stark Vegas, however you say it. When you head up that way, you need a place to stay permanently or temporarily or short-term, long-term, anything like that. Go to Overstreet Properties. Tell Kane Overstreet I sent you up there. Hit him up, overstreetproperties.com. Reservoir Dog, yep, you're right. Over here on Twitter, he tweeted me at Radio Wyatt. That's the guy, T-Bob Abear. Played offensive line there at LSU, and he does radio stuff now. He co-hosts a show during the week, but then I realized Saturday night after the game, I'm driving away from Baton Rouge, and he and another guy were on the radio, local flagship station for them there in Baton Rouge, doing kind of a call-in reaction show to the loss. And they did a fantastic job. It was a great show. And I agree with you, Reservoir Dog. T-Bob's analysis of the game was entertaining but spot on. And the callers on that show, the LSU fans who called in, now a lot of them did want to focus on Miles Brennan. And I was just going, I mean, you got other stuff you need to focus on if you're an LSU fan. He's not Joe Burrow, but then again, nobody may ever be. We don't know. And he was shaky at first, seemed to be a little hesitant about all the pressure and the contact, but he got better and then made some plays for him in the second half. Did take some sacks. He got 7 sacks in the game, and he had no running game. I'm thinking if you're a quarterback and the defense shuts down your run game and they sack you 7 times, what's a quarterback supposed to do? You know, I mean, you got maybe a few other things you need to focus on. The callers on that show, they were really entertaining. The accents and everything and hearing where they're from, it was pretty cool. First time for me to experience that. And when I left the stadium, by the way, I took a wrong turn. And so I went over 2 bridges over that river right there at Baton Rouge.
No, you did not.
Yep. I went over one bridge going the wrong way
Matthew.
And had to make a detour and come back over the other bridge going the right way. But it was okay because it just gave me more time to listen.
I don't feel like the Lone Ranger because most people that come into Baton Rouge do that at least once.
Yeah, I did it. And the problem was I had a GPS telling me what to do, but I was too focused on thinking about the game, and I was eating snacks in the car. You know how that goes.
Trying to get back home to that country-pleasing sausage and your in-laws for fridge.
Mm-hmm. I went the wrong way. Went the wrong dad-blame way.
Took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
That's it. The wrong turn at Albuquerque. Let's see. We got a top 25. The AP has State in it. Nobody's surprised by that. What is it? They put State at 16, put LSU at 20. Got State at 16, Cincinnati 15, Oregon 14, A&M 13. They got Auburn at 7, Georgia at 4, Florida 3, Bama 2, Clemson 1. That's the AP poll.
You mentioned, or I should say we have, and our callers and texters have mentioned a lot about the SEC today, but the biggest upset in the country for me was the game that was right before Mississippi State, and all the State fans were getting, antsy about, why are we watching Kansas State and Oklahoma? This is horrible. No, it was a great game, and Spencer Rattler got his rattlers cut off.
Did he go overtime?
He was no, it didn't even go overtime. They were awesome in the first. He was awesome in the first half. They were up, I think, 21-7. Man, they got schooled so bad in the second half.
How about that?
And then I was thinking, Kansas State's the team that got beat by Coastal Carolina.
Sure is. Where's Oklahoma
go
in this
into
thing?
Norman and beat them.
Where did they put Oklahoma? 18. They dropped. How about that? So
That's
State
probably pretty generous.
State is 16, Oklahoma State 17, Oklahoma 18, Wisconsin 19, LSU 20, Tennessee 21, BYU 22, Michigan 23, Michigan, Pitt 24, Memphis 25. That's the AP poll. Scores: Bama beat Missouri 38-19. Mac Jones 18 of 24, 249, 2 TDs. Najee Harris, 98 yards, 3 TDs on the ground. Jalen Waddle caught 8 for 134 and 2 scores. Georgia.
That game wasn't as close as the score indicated either.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, it was
a blowout.
It was 35-3 at one point in the middle of the third quarter.
I got you. Hey,
you were driving, eating snacks.
Yeah, but
lost
I didn't
over
get to
bridges.
see. That's the thing about doing what I do. I love it because I'm close to the team and the state games, see them all in person. I love that, but I don't get to see a whole lot of other football until I get into the week and go back and watch the replays every year. The Georgia-Arkansas game. All right, so I'm going to give you sound effects. Here is the first half for Georgia. Here is the second half for Georgia. There you go. Pretty much sums it up.
From the outhouse to the penthouse.
Literally. That's right. From chicken to chicken salad. Arkansas led at halftime 7-5. Dave Van Horn's pitching staff did a nice job.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
In the second half, Georgia outscored Arkansas 32-3. Explain it. You can't. Florida beat Ole Miss 51-30. Wait a minute. Let me back up here. Since you're playing Arkansas, let me go back to Arkansas real quick. Everybody's still waiting on Mike Leach. What else is new? For his press conference today. Arkansas put up 10 points against that Georgia defense. Georgia defense is really good, obviously. Loaded with NFL talent. Felipe Franks, 19 of 36, 200 yards, 1 TD, 2 picks. KJ Jefferson, Mississippi kid, did play, threw 2 passes, completed 1 for 3 yards. Running the ball. Arkansas had a grand total of 77 rushing yards. Traylon Smith, 6 carries, 38, the leading rusher. Rakeem Boyd, 11 carries, 29, could not get on track. The longest run they had all day was from the quarterback. KJ Jefferson ran for 19. So obviously their offense struggled overall. But then you look at defensively, Georgia started DeJuan Mathis. He goes 8 of 17, throws a pick. They put in the other guy, Stetson Bennett, who's like 5.5 feet tall. 20 of 29, 211, 2 TDs. They get the running game going. Zamir White, 13 carries, 71 yards. There's some Georgia box score for you. Florida beats Ole Miss 51-35. You just couldn't stop them. You know, Trask throws for 406 TDs. Pretty good day for
his number one target. You probably didn't get to see much of it because it was probably right in the middle of your pregame.
Yeah, it was.
But Pitts,
oh yeah,
that dude's a beast.
Yeah, you can't cover him.
He's about 6'6", 240, and one hand wraps around the entire football.
Yeah, you can't cover him. Let's see here. Corral, 22 of 31, 395, 3 TDs and a pick. What did y'all think of the blue uniforms for Ole Miss?
Loved them.
Did
I would
you?
have loved to have seen it with a red helmet, with the blue and the red switched on that helmet.
See, I would have loved to have seen it with the dark blue helmet. I think the light blue jersey, dark blue helmet. The
jersey looks great. Just need a different helmet on there.
When I looked at it on I walked by one of the TVs in the press box area. Press box at LSU, and I walked by one of the TVs and the game was on, and I glanced at it, and I swear at a distance you think you're watching Kentucky. You see Florida,
very similar.
You see Florida playing a team wearing all blue, and then you look closer, wait a minute, that's Ole Miss. You know?
Hey, how about Kellen Mond? He looked like the number 2 guy in the SEC, didn't he?
I have no idea. See, I hadn't seen one highlight of that game. I haven't watched it or anything.
Let me just give you the final score. They beat A&M beat Vandy at home in College Station, 17-12. Scored 10 points in the second half to do that.
Well, they're just holding everything back for Alabama this week. That's all that was.
Alabama.
Alabama. All right, we'll wrap it up with you next. Stay with me.
Stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C-Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with autopay and paperless billing. Even without autopay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No Bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' Sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' Sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new REAX stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit.
105.9.
Zero turn.
Are you ready? Get ready for the Mississippi State radio analyst. And who's on your radio?
Right now!
You got the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. Getting set to wrap it up here on this Reaction Monday, and then we'll get into the week tomorrow. If you're listening here on 105.9 The Zone, Jackson, Central Mississippi, WRKS, 50,000-watt flame-throwing FM signal. You'll get, coming up at the top of the hour, The Drive with Jake Wimberly and Beaver. They'll take you on into 6 p.m. into supper time. It's not dinner.
Speaking of flamethrowers and The Drive, I went out after that last segment, told Jake you need to get in the bullpen. I was worried about you.
Yeah.
I think you're going to make it.
Okay.
He said he only had one pitch in him.
Fastball. Four-seam fastball.
Yeah, and that's not much of a reliever. So we need you to hang in there, pal.
Yeah.
Finish strong, they say.
Okay, finish strong. We'll do it. The Mike Leach press conference scheduled to begin at 2 o'clock. They're still waiting on him right now, so they got stuff going on there. We may or may not get it in today. If not, we'll see if there's any high points and hit them for you tomorrow. Over on the YouTube live stream, people watching on YouTube, youtube.com/Matt Wyatt Media, RLD Studio, reminding us that Kirby Smart's first year at Georgia was 2016. They have played a couple times in 1 year. That was in 2017. You had the SEC championship game and then the regular season game, which they split those. Blind Squirrel Sports said, I was shocked by how mightily the Georgia O-line struggled at times versus Arkansas. If that being the case, and I'd be, interested how much that knowledge
Sam
of Pittman
knew about him.
Yeah. I mean, he coached them last year, right? So
yeah, you got to think that was a huge factor.
Yeah, and recruited them, all of that stuff. Bill on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, says, one of the things I love about this show is all the quick little references that you guys make from my generation, so I get them all. Bugs Bunny, Keith Jackson in the last segment, Albuquerque, Alabama, LOL. Wrong turn at Albuquerque. What is this? What were we talking about? He said he looked... Oh, True Maroon. I said, what do you think about Ole Miss's blue uniforms? And True Maroon said that they looked like a bunch of Smurfs getting beat up.
That sounds like a True Maroon comment.
It definitely does. B-Dog 2 on the Country Pleasing Sausage text line. Country Pleasing now officially the sausage of Mississippi State athletics. Says last time we went to Baton Rouge for a game, the cops wouldn't let us go the way we needed to coming out of the stadium. By the time we got turned around and drove for an hour, we saw a sign that said Death Valley Stadium, 1 mile. That's terrible.
3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah. Bless your heart. Anthony from Tupelo. What is this? Costello's accuracy impressed me because some of those passes were good coverage, but Costello just put the ball in the right place for only the receiver to have a chance. And yeah, absolutely. Some of those were really pinpoint. You know, that early long third down conversion to Cameron Gardner was a throw that, I mean, it was as pinpoint as I've ever seen from a college quarterback into that kind of window in the middle of the field on 3rd and long, and a difference of an inch or two either way, and it's incomplete or worse. Now, that was incredible. Caleb, what's your Friday night calendar look like the rest of the season? You know what, Caleb? I don't know. I don't know that I've planned it out that far. I'm going to get down to Enterprise at some point soon. So I don't know yet, but I'll hit you up. Thanks for the encouragement on that. Need it very much. Okay, Miko, a vote in the 4 category for Chicken Hawk. Miko says Chicken Hawk has got to be the best caller, hands down. There you go. Ronnie says, Matt, the more State runs their schemes, the better they should get, as well as on the defensive side too. Sure, yeah, everybody, you know, you get a little better here and there and figure out your rotation a little better. Experience makes new guys better sometimes, you know, all that stuff. It's a week-to-week thing. It truly is. And then the coaches, you know, we get tired of their coach speak, but they understand that. They understand that you have to just go and totally focus in on winning a game this week. That's all you can focus on. That's it. The ball guy on the text line, not me, it's not Brooks, says KJ Costello is the real deal. Think of how many yards he would have had if those balls had not been dropped. I mean, he did have one big play to Peyton. That was really the only drop of the ball game, I thought.
Yeah, but as a State fan, you got to come away from there thinking we're glad of the balls they did catch. And as you just aforementioned, where he was putting those balls in the window where they weren't having to go up, 3 yards either side and get it. Mm-hmm. But it was right there.
Yeah. Brad said whatever Kirby Smart said to his team at halftime is what I needed to hear every morning for the rest of my life. That's from Tatted Brad. Man, no doubt. They turned it on in the second half, huh? They really did. JB, I got to tell you what happened to me Friday night.
Yeah, man. So
I go out, I'm filming, kind of documenting what it was like between Germantown and Warren Central. And we got down there. I went early, so I had my vehicle, our family vehicle, with me at the stadium. So my wife and daughter, they came later on to the game with the rest of the family and all that. So we were there in 2 vehicles. Game's over, we get done, we take some pictures, stand around and talk. We get in the car, we get in that line of traffic that's leaving the field there at Warren Central that takes you out to Highway 27 where everybody leaves Warren Central High School to go home, right?
Been there many a time.
Right, so you know exactly where it is.
Yeah, yep.
Well, I'm in the line of traffic. It's not really moving. We were there probably 30 minutes, just barely creeping, and then finally they start ushering people out up there at the red light. And it brings us around the lot where the high school is and a dirt road, basically, the kind of a gravel dirt road. Yeah. In the dark, it's sort of lit, but anyway, here we go. We start to move. We're rolling along. The car in front of me swerves just a little bit, but keeps going, and I see that they have run over something. Not with the tires, but they've straddled something in the middle of the road.
Possum? Skunk?
A kitten.
Oh, no.
That would fit inside your shoe.
Oh, get out.
And I hit the brakes.
And Mary Liddy got out.
No, I'm by myself. I'm in the car by myself.
Oh, that's right. You're in your car by yourself. I thought your family had ridden.
They were in the other car, probably 10, 12 cars behind me. And all these hundreds of cars are happy to finally be moving, and now I have stopped traffic. And I've opened the door, and I got out, and the little thing, his little light gray thing, I'm not kidding you, we got him checked out later. He's 6 weeks old. This little 6-week-old kitten sitting in the middle of this drive, and I'm talking about totally in shock, frightened, will not move. I pick him up. He kind of clings to me, and I pick him up. I get in the car, and I start driving, leave, and now I'm headed over to the in-laws' house. I called Annabeth, and I said, hey, I just picked up a kitten. This thing was going to get mashed flat. These cars were running over it, straddling it in the middle of that dirt road. He's teeny tiny.
And he's comfortable inside one of my shoes, right?
Well, and I had him, kind of in one hand as I drove, and the little thing actually went to sleep.
Oh, wow.
On me as we drove home.
Check you out.
And then we get
Mr.
there.
Humanitarian.
We get there, and we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Who needs a kitten? What's the deal? Make a long story short, the next morning as I drove to Baton Rouge, Annabeth took him to the local vet there just to get him checked out, make sure everything was cool, And they say it's a little boy. He's about 6 weeks old, and he's healthy.
Yeah.
And he was clean and didn't have fleas and didn't smell, so I think somebody put him out. Either that or he'd taken a free ride in somebody's car. And we previously had one cat. Now we have two.
Oh, well, you need to name him after the Vikings.
Well, okay. So
either call him Rob or Josh or Thor.
I let my daughter... Ultimately, I named him.
Okay.
She named him Dub, as in W.
As in
W.
I hear you.
She said because W is for Warren Central and W is for Wyatt.
Yeah.
So the little fella is named Dub, and it is the cutest little kitten I have ever looked at. Like I say, he's interesting color. He's light gray, little old bitty squirt, and he's playful, and. So Dub now lives with us, and I picked him up in the middle of that gravel driveway leading out from Warren Central High School, and now he's in Tupelo with us.
So you had a Jack Hanna moment.
Yeah, I sort of did. I just couldn't. I mean, it's pitch dark. Okay, yeah. These cars we're going up this road. Other cars have driven over him and just straddled him. He's hugging the ground, won't move, little bitty thing, And I couldn't just. Because, one, something just told me get out and get this cat.
Yeah.
And I never do that kind of thing. And then it dawns on me, if I go 10 cars behind me, my wife and daughter are going to see this, they're going to stop.
Yeah, if it's not run over by them.
Right.
I did that with a turtle once.
Yeah, you took him home?
About 4 or 5 years ago, took him home. My wife said, we don't need a turtle. The dogs went nuts, so I took him to a friend's pond. But there was this turtle on this busy road.
Right.
I just stopped and picked him up and threw him in the back seat,
Sometimes you're just,
Yeah. I hate to see anything get killed.
Well, I do too,
Especially
all right, and
Shelley, secondary.
Shelley on Facebook says, show us a pic of Dub. All right, I promise I will have it on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Wyatt. I'll have some video of Dub for you up there later tonight, okay? So check that out. Enjoyed the show today on a Reaction Monday. For JB, I'm Matt. Y'all enjoy Jake coming up next here on The Zone. See y'all tomorrow. See ya!